Hi guys, so I know it's been a while. I haven't done a video. Honestly, I've had a lot going on in my life. And I wanted to do a video to kind of, explain to y'all what's been going on and why y'all haven't seen me. And I don't have a lot of followers, but if y'all were wondering why you haven't seen me post or anything, so I guess to start it off, on that Monday after that Sunday video, everything was fine. I did my diet the way I was supposed to. Went to the gym. Started off the week on the right foot. Later that afternoon, my in-laws got subpoenaed for my sister's pending custody trial, and it stirred up a little bit of drama. Sorry, I just ate cashews, so I'm like I got cashews in my teeth. If you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. It stirred up a little bit of drama, and then later in the week it stirred up a lot of drama. So without getting too much into that, I'll just tell you a little bit of background about that. So my sister was apparently got in trouble right after my niece was born. My niece Alice. This is my baby sister, Samantha. And she had Alice taken away from her, like, really close to around the time Alice was born. And then they were working on things and getting things done that they needed to get done to get Alice back, and they got her back in May. So Alice was born in November, and then she was I think she was taken away in February, and then they got her back in May of that next year. And that's whenever me and my mother went and visited her and saw Alice for the first time and helped her out. We bought some stuff for her and tried to convince her to move down here to New Braunfels and get her life back on track, because at the time Zach and I were living with my mother and we had an apartment and all of us had good jobs and everything was good. So she refused and she didn't want to, whatever, blah blah blah. Sammy didn't tell us that shortly after we saw Alice for the first time that Alice was put back into the foster family she was with the first time. Excuse me. She was very vague on the reasons why. My sister has Asperger's. It's a type of autism. She's not really good in social situations, and she's definitely not good in texting, so you kind of have to call her. And then even during the phone calls, there's like a little bit of a disconnect. The best way to communicate with her is honestly to be in front of her, to get the best type of communication, and for her to understand you completely. It has to be in person because of her disability. But we've reached out so many times to try to help her in her situation and stuff that she's going through with her baby daddy / what now is husband. I don't know if they're actually really married. I don't know if they're just saying that they're married, or if they actually went to the courthouse. I don't know. I don't know much about him. I just know that from what I've heard, he's not good for her. but she continues to want to try to be with him. And she's actually pregnant again. Her second baby girl is due, and I think she said a month and a half to 2 months she's due again with her second baby. Well, we have reached the point of, oh wait, let me back up a little bit. So the reason why Maxine got involved was because finally I was in contact with Sammy last year, around this time of last year, I believe. And Sammy told me that Alice was back in with the foster family. And I talked to her and I was like, why? You know, what's going on? And we wanted to go have dinner with her and, like, you know, figure out what was going on. So Maxine offered to take us up there, and it was me, Zach, my mom, and we picked up Sammy. And we went to Jim's and sat down with her, and come to find out that dinner was only like a few days before a CPS meeting to determine Alice's permanent placement. And we ended up going to that meeting, but Sammy didn't have a ride, so she couldn't make it, which looked really bad on her part. They gave her an extension to get all of her stuff together because she had to do classes and do all this stuff. As far as I know and that I'm aware, she's tried, but she hasn't completed all of it still. And it's going on 1.5 years that Alice has been in total with a foster family and not her parents. But anyway, so after that, we went to the meeting and they told Zach and I that we weren't, that we wouldn't be able to because of, that we wouldn't be able to foster Alice and possibly adopt until all Zach's court stuff is done and over with. And if he does get charged with a felony, then we have to wait 5 years to even be considered to adopt. So because of the fact that he hasn't really gone to court for the last charge, since it could be a felony, we're just immediately taken off of the list of possible places for Alice. And then my mother was, which we don't know why. We were never told why my mother wasn't an option. We were just told that she wasn't. So to skip forward a little bit, I actually got subpoenaed too. And I did talk to the attorney. It was the district attorney that subpoenaed me, not Sammy's lawyer. So I'm a little nervous about that. But she told me that she's going to look into it because she's not aware of why my mother was skipped over either. But anyways, back to where I was. So Maxine stepped in and said, okay, well, if Zach and Kayla can't help out, then me and my husband would like to be foster parents, or considered for temporary placement until we figure out what's going on with Zach. That was the initial agreement. Well, back then, last year, it caused a huge fight between me and Maxine because of the fact that once we got closer to Alice, because we actually, Maxine actually got the foster lady's phone number and was in constant communication, like texting and phone calls and stuff and sending pictures of Alice and everything, which was neat. But I felt like I was being left out of the loop, and I'm the family. I'm the sister. I feel like I should have had the contact with the foster mother, but I wasn't. Everything that I was fed through Maxine, and that really irked me. And then also, we went and saw Alice a few times for visitation and played with her for a few hours. You know, we met with the foster mom at Brackenridge Mall in Austin. And once we started getting closer to Alice and Maxine got to know Alice, for some reason her tune changed. And I don't know if it was something in her mind that she was like, well, I don't want to just foster Alice. If I get approved to foster, then I want to adopt her. And when that happened, it caused a lot of problems, and there was a huge fight, and Maxine actually dropped out of the race for Alice, and we were just done with it all. Because, for one, Sammy wasn't making it easy to help her. There was actually comments made that they didn't want Maxine anywhere near their baby. And then being told that Zachary and I weren't in the running at all because of something that hasn't even happened yet. There's just a lot of negativity towards it. So we were just all done with it. And then all this stuff with him and all that, you know, went down at the later part of last year. And then in the beginning of this year, we moved back in with them, and we've been trying to move on with our lives and whatever. You know, I figured, you know, the foster family's gonna adopt her, whatever, you know. I tried the best that I could. Well, they got subpoenaed and didn't know why, and were frustrated, and it just brought up a lot of stuff. Like, mentally, I've always thought that they never really liked me and never really accepted me as a part of their family. Never really felt like they even appreciated or acknowledged that I had family, you know. And some comments were made because once she got subpoenaed, she got back in contact with the foster mom. And her opinions about my sister, she's entitled to have her opinions. Just like I'm entitled to have my own, you know. My issue was that her opinions were loudly spoken in the middle of the house that I was residing in. Just like outside of my door, like the kitchen's right there. She was in the kitchen loudly talking on her phone with the foster lady, and she made comments saying, you know, attacking my sister's character, and it irked me, and I'm not a confrontational person. So pissed me off. I went in, and this was like right before I was supposed to pick Zachary up from work, so I went and picked Zachary up from work, vented to him in the car, continued to vent to him on the front porch, tried to be quiet about it as well as I could, but my venting got overheard, and then things escalated, and it just got really bad. Like, it was to the point where, like, Zach and James, my brother-in-law, were about to have a fist fight in the front yard, and I was being blamed for starting it when I didn't say anything, and I wasn't planning on ever saying anything. I just was gonna take, you know, what she said about my sister and just take it and just, you know, internalize it and just add it to the long list of reasons why I don't want my kids around them. You know, I was just gonna internalize it, not say anything. But apparently, since I talked to my husband and shared my opinions, and then he was irritated, and then he was asked what was wrong, and he said, well, she's mad because of this, it started this whole thing. So that calmed down that night. But then the night after that, it blew up again because I decided to continue venting on social media, which is never a good idea. It was a very, like, I guess it was very passive aggressive, but it was kind of like vague post. And I actually blocked her from seeing it because I knew that it would start problems. And I blocked my own mother from seeing it because I just didn't want to. I wanted to vent to my friends and just kind of like let it out, but I didn't want to start anything. Well, it did start something because apparently some family members on Zachary's side, saw it and decided to directly contact her and ask her what the post was about. And that was a little uncool, The post was for me. And for them to, like, no names were mentioned either. So it's like, first of all, why are you going to assume? Secondly, if you have an issue with what I'm posting on my Facebook, come to me. Don't go to the person that you think I'm writing about and ask them. Well, anyways, that caused a huge thing. And then finally I was able to share with her how I've been feeling for the past 10 years. How I don't feel a part of this family. And how I've noticed little things that are confirming it. And, like little things. Like our wedding pictures, for instance. Like, there is no pictures in all the pictures that were taken at our wedding of just me and her. But there's pictures of just my mother and Zach. And there's pictures of all of us together. But actually, the ones with all of us together, you can see there's like a gap between, like, she's like up against Zachary, but there's like you could fit another person almost between her and me. So it's just like, body language stuff, all the little things that have made me confirm in my own head that they don't like me, they don't want me to be part of this family, they don't want me with Zachary. I don't feel welcome in this house. I don't feel at home here. I don't feel welcome in this family. One of the biggest things that I've had to overcome is the fact that Link was away at work when we got married. And I understand, it was last minute. But when he returned from work, the first time I saw him after he got home from work, he never mentioned our marriage or our wedding. He never said anything along the lines of, "Welcome to the family. Glad to have you as a daughter-in-law. Love you." Nothing was said. And that hurt because my family welcomed Zachary with open arms. Open arms. Even after all the stuff he's done to me over the years. Welcomed him in. My mom actually turned to him at the wedding, right after we said our vows, and said, "So great to have you as a son-in-law, I love you," and gave him a big hug. I have not and have yet to experience anything like that with my in-laws. And I understand it, people are different, people express love differently, but after being with someone for 10 years, even hearing a congratulations, or glad to have you, or I'm glad Zach's with you, or something just as small as that, would have been enough for me. But I never heard any of that. And the stuff that was lacking, paired with all the body language and all the stuff that has been said and unsaid in the past, and just all of it paired together, it has led me to, the fact that they don't like me, they don't want me around, they're trying to make me feel uncomfortable and unwanted. so I'll leave. I feel like, you know, it's just, it's too much. And that paired with the comments that were made about my family, I felt directly attacked, and I reacted, which made things really bad. But now they've calmed down. After I opened up and cried and whatever, things are different. But I'm doing a video. Sorry, that was my husband. He decided to walk in. You want to say hi real quick before you walk out?
Hi.
Oh, here, let me turn around.
Hi. Yeah, hi.
He just rode his bike to the gas station.
Go.
Franklin, come here.
Go.
I'm babysitting the dog in here. Temporarily. But anyways, so all of that happened. And then comments were also made when they got subpoenaed, stating that they didn't, I don't remember the exact words that were used, but it was something along the lines of, why are we being involved? You know, like, it was like, the tone of it was just like, I thought we were done with this, like, this isn't even my family, you know, type of attitude. Anyways, so I was dealing with all that drama. And then Zachary had court, and they ended up rescheduling it, but it's looking like they want to charge him with another felony, because after the initial first one, when he got arrested in January, he got arrested, or he was on his way to a friend's house riding a bicycle at the time, and he got pulled over, and he had meth on him. I know I haven't openly discussed what drug Zachary was addicted to last year, and apparently was addicted to it for longer than I thought. That's personal, and a lot of the problems with our marriage have stemmed from my mistrust, because I was lied to for so long. And not just lied to by him, lied to by all of our mutual friends. They kept it hidden just as much as he did, you know. But anyways, the second time he got pulled over on a bicycle because he didn't have a headlamp on his bike. They pulled him over, and they searched him, and he had a little bit of meth on him, and they threw it on the ground, and they told him, the cops, they told him, they said, if you give me names, this never happened. Well, he ended up, you know, giving him names that he thought that they already knew about. Turns out they did already know about those people, and the people that he did mention are actually working with the cops in a bigger sting operation. So the reason why I think that they're trying to pin this on him is because nothing came from his name drops, because they already knew those people, and they were pissed because they couldn't get any new suppliers or new dealers, you know. But anyways, so apparently the prosecution wants to pin this other charge on him, and the only way out is for him to do drug court, which is going to be intense, and he has to go to rehab. And we looked at the document today. We went and met with the lawyer, his lawyer, which is doing a shitty job. Honestly, I feel like she's conspiring against him, and she has a personal bias towards the prosecution. which makes sense because I mean she's a court appointed, so I mean. Anyways, he's gonna talk to a lawyer that we know, and see if those are his. Gonna get a second opinion. I don't really want to talk about that very much in this video. I'm already. This video is already really long. But anyways, so he's going through a lot with that, and he might have to go. If he pays for it, he can do a 30-day program, but that means he has to pay for it, and it's like $2,000 a month to go to rehab. And we don't even have a car. We have no car. We have no savings. We have barely enough. You know, we you know, have struggled to get back to even being able to survive paycheck to paycheck. And we finally accomplished that goal of coming back to being able to make it paycheck to paycheck. So we're doing good, but we're definitely not in the place where we have the money or even the time for him to even go to rehab. Because I'm going to school full time and doing the best that I can to even save money to get a down payment for a car. And I didn't want to get choked up. Damn it. Doing the best that I can. And it just seems like, you know, nothing's working. Nothing's like, they waited a year and a half to even bring this charge to court. And during that year and a half, he sobered up, got a good job, you know, and we're trying to rebuild our life. And now they're coming in and they're like, well, I don't give a shit if you tried to rebuild your life in the past year and a half it took us to prosecute you. But, sorry, Charlie, put a timeout on the clock and you're going to have to suffer some more and then rebuild in 2 years from now. That's not right. Like, I feel like that should be against the law to wait that long to prosecute someone and like have them rebuild their life in that year and a half that it took you to prosecute them, and then come in with a wrecking ball and just say, fuck what you've rebuilt. You know, it's just so frustrating. So I'm dealing with that. And then I still haven't gone to see my dad. Apparently I ran into my uncle, actually. Oh wait, let me talk about Franklin first. So we took him to the vet and he's gonna need surgery on his ears. They did the best that they could. I'm gonna get choked up about this too. Damn it. I'm getting choked up because previously, I don't know if I've already talked about this in one of my videos or not, but one of our close friends said that he was gonna help us out because we didn't have the money until recently. I had to set it aside from busting my butt working for Favor. And I finally set enough aside to pay for a vet visit and possible medication expenses. And I scheduled him an appointment, but before that, he was taken to a different vet, and they said that our friend said that the vet that he took him to was a friend of his, or a friend of his mom, who's a vet, and that she was perfectly fine with, you know, covering the expenses and everything, and I was so grateful. I was so grateful to hear that. I even offered to, like, pay, like, payments to her. Franklin. Stop it. When I get emotional, sometimes he, like, chimes in, too. Anyways, I even offered, like, to pay payments to her. Because I know he needed treatment. I know he had fleas all over him, and I was trying my best, you know. Honestly, if you've never been in a serious relationship or married to an addict, like, I don't think you realize the struggles of everyday life. Not just, like, relationship struggles, but, like, life struggles that you go through. Sorry, anyways, and also background on this particular vet that he took him to, she's known to be, part of one of the more wealthy families in New Braunfels. So I was really grateful for her, saying that, you know, she would cover it. Well, he brought Franklin back from seeing her and told us that Franklin was deaf, and then his ears were calcified, and it was from neglect, and that she was only able to put cream on the outside of the ears because it was so swollen on the inside, and that he's deaf and he'll always be deaf. And that hurt to hear that. And I felt like a bad pet mom because I know he needed help, but I just couldn't afford it. And it made me feel really bad. And then the very next day, I hear that same vet's daughter is calling Zach's brother and bitching him out for her mother having to cover the fees for pet parents that are neglectful and that should have their dog taken away from them. And that hurt. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want help from anybody anymore. I'm just gonna save my money and I'm gonna take him over to our own vet. And if I have to pay payments to him, then I'll just do that, you know? Because, like, to have someone say that they're willing to help you when you're in a bind, and then that same person turn around and look down on you and judge you and attack you, like, it's not okay. So anyways, especially coming from someone who's never had to suffer financially, like, ever in their life. That just makes it worse. Because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they've been through. You know? Anyways, I took him to our vet. That's what started me getting choked up. Because I took him to our vet and they were so nice. And he was really anxious going to the vet because he knows he's been to the vet so many times since he was a puppy for his ears, and, you know, we just can't get the infections to stop. they'll go away and then they come back, and then they go away and they come back. And anyways, we took them there, and they were really nice and comforting, and the doctor told us that they were gonna have to put him under just to be able to look at the ears, because his ears were so sensitive, and we've been fighting this battle, and he gets aggressive, even with a muzzle on. Like, he would have probably like tried to scratch or bite them, even if they like touched his ear with their finger, so we already kind of knew they would probably have to put him under. They put him under, and then I was supposed to go get him at 7 that night, so I went and go get him, and the vet was explaining to me, I'm gonna start crying again, god darn it. The vet was explaining to me that it wasn't something that I could have prevented. And I almost immediately started sobbing because of how the other vet talked about me and made me feel like I was neglectful. It was like I could breathe again. And he told me that he sees this a lot, and that it's not from being neglectful. He has growths in his ears, and certain dogs are just born with a condition that makes them grow things, like grow little cysts in their ears. And his had grown or swollen up so much that it was preventing his ears from draining right. You can hear him in the background. Look it. Anyways, I needed a break so I could stop sobbing so much. But yeah, so it was like I could breathe again, like hearing that. Because I just felt so horrible. I felt like it was something that I could have prevented and everything. And whenever he said those words, it just like released so much anxiety and so much tension and so much like guilt and hurt and all of that. It just released it. And he said it's totally fine, like this happens a lot, and he cleaned them the best that he could, but he is not a veterinarian or vet surgeon, so he referred us to a vet surgeon, because what they're gonna have to do with dogs that have this particular problem is when the growths are so big, you literally can't get anything in or out of them because they swell the ear canal shut. So they're gonna have to put them under and cut out the growths, and then they also do like, I forgot what it's called, it's like an ablation or something, where they go and they clean out the ear, and then they actually go in and they sew the ear canal shut on the inside. So his ears will be completely unclogged and sewed shut, so that way he will never have to deal with ear infections ever again. And then, I'm so sorry, I'm crying so much. The biggest kicker was that the doctor said that Franklin's not dead, and that he will never be dead. So that hit like that, like just made the what was like, glossy eyes just like come down my face, because being told you're a neglectful pet owner or pet mama is one thing, but also being told false, diagnosis of your pet is a totally different story. You know, and that's wrong. Like, I don't mind. You can judge me and hurt me all you want, but don't tell me that there's something wrong with my pet that is that serious. That is false. That's not okay. But anyways, sorry. Thank you for sticking here if you're still watching. So I was dealing with that. And then, so I kind of skipped over seeing my uncle. So I brought him back from seeing the vet that day. And he had to go pee-pee before we went in the house. And he was going pee-pee. And I look up and I see my uncle walking by. My uncle that lives right next door to my dad. Grandpa dad. And I asked him how dad was doing. And he said, well, he's back at home. He's not in the rehab facility anymore. But he's not doing well. He doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to do therapy. He doesn't want to do anything. Which, if you knew him, you know he's grumpy and he can be mean sometimes, and he doesn't want to do what he doesn't want to do. He's stuck in his ways, and I need to go visit him. His birthday is actually on the 1st, so I was gonna go up there on Saturday before I go to work with my cousin, if she still wants to go. If not, I'll just go on his birthday. And then, so I've been dealing with that, feeling guilty about that. And then, I don't know if I ever told you all this, but ever since I was a young preteen, I've struggled with depression bad. And then, the last time we lived here, my feelings about not being accepted were so bad that I actually developed an anxiety disorder. And I've been dealing with depression lately. I don't, Franklin, he helps me with it. But when he does stuff like that, it's so funny. He just wants to go outside because he knows daddy's outside. So he'll just cry and cry and cry. Is he sitting by the door? Oh no, he's sitting right behind me. What a turd. But anyways, I struggle with depression. And the last week, with all this stuff going on, it just made it worse. I didn't want to get out of bed. I haven't showered. I know it's gross, right? I haven't showered in probably, I haven't washed my hair in 2 weeks. It hurts to admit it. Because it's gross, I haven't physically showered my body in a week. It's so gross. But that's what depression does. You're just in a hole. And you need someone there to help you get out of it. And Franklin's my person, I guess. But, so, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be. Those were a lot of the things that I've been dealing with this past week. And I just totally, said, fuck it to my diet, man. I haven't been to the gym since that Monday. We've only been to the gym 4 times since we got the membership. I'm keeping the membership. I'm paying it tomorrow. But I just fell off the wagon completely. And I don't know if y'all can relate or not, but I started this channel because I wanted to give y'all someone who's honest, opinion and story. And I hope you don't watch my videos and think like, man, this is boring, like I'm gonna unsubscribe or something. But I just wanted to kind of vlog and video diary my life, the honest, true parts of my life, you know. And so tomorrow's a new day, and on Sunday I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna wrap this up because this one's getting ridiculously long. I'm so sorry. Thank you if you got this far. Thank you for watching and caring. It means a lot to me. But anyways, so I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna say I'll see you on Sunday. I'm gonna do another video on Sunday and I'm gonna share with you everything that's new in my life, other than all the negative. I'm gonna do a video about some of the positive things that have happened in the last couple days, with school and with Zachary. And yeah, so thank y'all, and I love y'all, and if you have any words of kindness or words of wisdom or words of advice, please comment or message me directly, because I'm at a pretty low point in my life right now, and I could really use it. Alright. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Bye bye.